What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, it looks like we have to talk about Dead Island 3. Today is the 14-year anniversary of Dead Island that released worldwide, technically released in North America a few days ago. This is a big day for anniversaries. PlayStation 1 turned 30, Crash Bandicoot, of course, a legend, turned 29, and then Spyro turned 27. So a little bit removed from those, of course, is Dead Island turning 14, and we got a very interesting tweet from them. You see the picture behind me. It really seems like, well, obviously they're making something else. Now, I'm going to assume it's Dead Island 3, to be flat out honest with you. It's what you're going to see in the title. It's what I think you're seeing around. If you look anywhere else, anywhere around the internet, it could be DLC. They've released, I believe, 2 DLCs for Dead Island 2. It could be that. I highly, highly doubt it, especially just the phrasing of it all and kind of this almost reflective feel to it, right? Where they talk about, you know, the past has happened and we're thankful, and then now here's like the next part of the journey. You normally don't do something like that if you're talking about another DLC to a Dead Island 2, right? You're probably talking about what is literally the next big thing for you. And so again, you have the picture, but they say 14 years ago, Dead Island made its gory debut. Today, Dead Island 2 has dragged 20 million slayers into the sunny chaos of Hell A. The next outbreak, Dam Buster, is already drenched in the work. The journey is far from over. And I mean, right there, you literally have like the next thing. And so honestly, well deserved, both with the sales or with, let's say, the player base, right? Because I think it could be on like a PS Plus or Game Pass. 20 million people playing the game is outrageously good, by the way, for a game that was dead in the water maybe 4 or 5 years ago. You know, if you would have thought back to, or if you go back 4 or 5 years ago and you think about Dead Island as a franchise, chances are you're not thinking too highly on it. I mean, look, I've talked about it many a time. You know, they, I believe, gave me a review code for Dead Island 2. So Dead Island 1 comes out 14 years ago. Of course, that was classic 2011. You had Skyrim, you have Uncharted 3 came out in that year. 2011 was a very, very good year for games, by the way, just in case people didn't remember that. But Dead Island comes out, and I really didn't like it. I mean, obviously everybody that was around at the time remembers that trailer going backwards, right? And then IGN, of course, historically made it go like in the natural way. But I mean, going backwards was kind of the design thing they wanted to do. A beautiful, amazing trailer. One of the greatest, I think, game trailers, period. The music, the look of it, the tone. The issue was the tone was completely off. The game was nothing like that, at least to me. Well, I think the tone factually was just completely off, right? It's whether you liked the game or not. And look, Dead Island eventually gave us, like, Dying Light. And I think Dying Light was a far better game than Dead Island ever could be. But I just never liked Dead Island, never liked Riptide. Dead Island 2 comes out after years of chaos, and you know, expectations aren't high, and I'll be the first one to say they freaking nailed it. I mean, I said it in my review. It's not because they gave me a code, by the way. The game is phenomenal. The game is so freaking good and shockingly good, probably better than it deserves to be, right? In terms of, again, kind of this lead up that nobody had any faith that they were going to pull it off. So look, I know I'm making this also about the past, not really the future, but just to remind people, like, it's been a troubled franchise for a while, and Dead Island 2 saved it after needing to be saved itself, right? So the fact that it went on and it did so well is so good, because, by the way, games can have redemption stories, and at the same time, they cannot be rewarded for that, right? Like, we can have all this stuff happen, and Dead Island 2 could be really, really good, and nobody cared, nobody bought it. But that's not true, right? It's actually, in a good way, it's the opposite, where people did support the thing, and I'll take Dead Island 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm very, very proud of them. I'm very happy for them, and, you know, they were not the ones to start Dead Island, so, you know, when they're kind of looking back, you know, they inherited this franchise or property after 2 games that got it going, and then a second game that was passed around, I think, 2 times before it got to them, and then they saved it. So they absolutely deserve to be the ones to make a 3rd game, and I have a ton of I have way more confidence than I've ever had, you know, in this franchise, literally ever. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.